Let's be honest, that phrase, "I hate my life," isn't just a fleeting bad mood for some of us. It's a deep, aching reality. And if you're here, you're probably desperate for an escape hatch. But what if the most powerful escape isn't an escape at all? I'm going to show you how history's most devastating exiles reveal an unlikely key, a forgotten blueprint, to unlocking a life you don't despise. A life built from the ashes of what you thought was everything. Publius Ovidius Naso, or Ovid, may not be a name popular to most, but he was the toast of imperial Rome. His poetry, like the scandalous Ars Amatoria, the art of love, made him a superstar. He had it all: fame, connections, the vibrant pulse of the capital. Then, in 8 AD, silence. Emperor Augustus banishes him. Not to a cushy retirement, but to a desolate land called Tomis. Imagine the biting winds off the Black Sea and a land frozen, as Ovid himself wrote in his Tristia, his sorrows. For a Roman of his stature, for whom public standing and honor was almost life itself, this was social and psychological annihilation. He confessed, "Here, I am the barbarian, for no one understands me." His world hadn't just changed, it had been obliterated. This isn't just ancient history. That gut-wrenching feeling of being an outcast, of losing your bearings, that's universal. Psychologists like Richard Tedeschi and Lawrence Calhoun identified post-traumatic growth. That is the phenomenon where profound adversity doesn't just scar, it can sculpt. It can force us to discover new strengths, a deeper appreciation for life, or even entirely new paths because the old ones are gone. Ovid's Rome was a highly structured society. His exile was the ultimate unstructured chaos. Yet, in that void, he instinctively began to build an internal structure. This makes me wonder, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. When life has thrown you into your own version of Tomis, a period where the script was ripped from your hands, what unexpected inner resource did you discover you possessed? Or perhaps, what resource do you wish you had cultivated then, looking back? Ovid didn't have self-help books, but he did what monks had been codifying for centuries. He found discipline in the desolation. He wrote relentlessly. He observed. He even learned the local Getic language. This wasn't just coping. It was an active, structured engagement with his new, harsh reality. It was his monastic blueprint for mental survival, for forging a new self when the old one was dead. I'm sure many people can relate recently to having a career I'd idolized vanished overnight. The silence was deafening. My identity felt hollow. And almost by accident, I started a tiny ritual. Every morning, before the anxiety could fully grip me, I'd write down one single observation from my window, something beautiful or strange. It was small, almost silly. But that daily act of structured focus, like Ovid meticulously crafting his verses in exile, became an anchor. It was the first block in rebuilding. Little by little, I started to pick up other rituals. And that ultimately led me to making these videos where I not only dissect myself, but find and share the tools that bring about self-improvement. We've all probably heard of very well-known techniques for self-improvement, such as adopting rigorous daily routines, mindfulness practices, or habit stacking. But for most, the cumulative effects of those seem so far away. Sometimes what we need is immediate action. So if your life feels like a barren wasteland right now, if you're saying, "I hate this," then try this. Not as a quick fix, but as tools Ovid unknowingly modeled, tools to architect a new inner world. First, sensory fasting. Ovid was assaulted by alien sights and sounds. You can intentionally disrupt your own sensory autopilot. For just 30 minutes, put on a blindfold and truly listen to your environment, or wear noise-canceling headphones in silence and just see. The psychology behind this is a pattern interrupt. Forcing one sense to rest heightens others, breaking habitual processing and creating a sliver of new perspective. This is essential when your old perspective is failing you. Second, the anonymous act of micro-creation. Ovid sent his poems, his soul, back to Rome with no guarantee of reception. You can create something small, a kind note, a tiny piece of art, and leave it for a stranger. No applause needed. The benefit and psychology of this: it shifts you from passive victim to active creator, detaching your worth from external validation. building what psychologists call self-efficacy from the ground up. Third, the object amnesty box. Ovid was stripped of his Roman life. We cling to objects representing past selves we've outgrown or resent. For 1 week, any object that evokes that "I hate my life" feeling goes into a box. No immediate decisions, just sequester it. At the week's end, review. Why does this work? It's a gentle, low-pressure way to begin the psychological work of detachment, creating literal and metaphorical space for who you want to become. Look, Ovid never got to return to Rome. His happy ending wasn't a return to the old life. It was the profound, soul-altering work he produced because of his exile. The "this" in "if you hate your life, try this" isn't about finding a magical door back to a life you miss, or even a completely new shiny one overnight. It's about recognizing that your current exile, that job loss, that heartbreak, that profound sense of alienation, is not just an ending. It's a brutal, unwanted, but incredibly potent invitation. An invitation to clear away the rubble, to look at the bare foundations, and to pick up the tools of inner architecture, to build, meticulously from the inside out, a self that can withstand the storms, a self that can find meaning even in tumults. That, my friends, is how you stop hating your life, by disappearing into yourself and transforming it, one internal brick at a time. If you like this dive into human psychology through history, please consider liking and subscribing for more videos like this. Thanks for watching Historic Psychology, and I'll see you on the next one.